All right. It's been so long.
It has.
I'm glad that it's drama and Bravo universe that always brings us back together.
Always instead of drama in real life.
Okay. Well, I mean, it's better than, well, this feels like I'm so invested in this now. This feels like my real
Mhm.
life. And so I'm really excited that like I can share that with you because everyone I try to tell other people, they're like, okay, have I met this person? Like, I'm like, well, technically I haven't either, but let me explain.
When I try to tell my partner, they're just like, "Nope, don't care. I don't even know what you're talking about. Who are these people?" And I'm like, "No, you don't. You have to know who they all are."
What makes it so bad to like prep for this? Okay, so what I did, okay, let's back up. What the heck are we talking about today? I feel like we just like jumped into
We
this.
did.
So do you want to explain what we're talking about?
Yes. So Summer House, right? We are at the end of a huge scandal, season 10, correct? I believe.
Yeah, it's 10. It's
Yeah,
10.
season 10, and I think with the reunion, and then they also had a bonus episode of the aftermath last night. But the whole situation, I think, is so different from other reality TV because we were portrayed something in the recording that happened last summer to then what was actually happening in real life before we even got to the reunion. And I think that's like a first in the Bravo world. And so I think that's what makes it so like what is happening.
And I feel like it's so layered, which okay, which we'll get into. Like, because there's more.
Well,
You know, a lot of people have been comparing it to obviously Tom and Ariana and like all of that drama, which was drama. But like, this is so deeply like layered into like race issues and just like friend. Anyway, we'll get into it. But here's the thing. So to not have this be like a 10-hour long episode, we're going to break it up. So, this one, we're going to kind of talk about overarching things that happened this season. And then we'll do another episode actually breaking down this 3-part reunion aftermath, which is very disappointing. I feel like that aftermath could have just been a 10-minute addition at the end of like
or they could have just said all of that in the reunion.
exactly. Well, Lindsay says that. She was like, this was the answers that I wanted during the reunion. Like, why did we need to, like, but whatever, it's fine. All right. So let's dive into it. So, okay, first off, I feel like obviously the Sierra and oh, I said Ariana, Amanda, and like Wes situation kind of like overshadowed everything that happened this
100%.
season. Like, I don't even know what else happened this season. So, like, what?
Well, let's start out with the fact that during the whole season, I think we were all rooting for Amanda. She played this
No,
one.
no, I
No,
mean, no, I
well,
because
between her relationship with her and Kyle, just her and Kyle. You're rooting for more Kyle.
I like have I've told you this. We talked about this on another
Yeah.
episode. I couldn't get into Summer House because I hated Amanda so much.
Right. But
Like,
this is the first season that for the first time I'm like, "Oh, man, she's got it rough. What is going on?"
no, I think
She
she's this weak, whiny little pick me girl that signed up for a certain life. And then when that life turned out to be exactly what she signed up for, she wanted to play the victim and have everyone
Right.
stop their entire lives to like pity her.
I
And like,
agree.
for me, the whole racial dynamic and stuff too of like the two black women having to be the ones that mothered her and consoled her, it's old. Like I just
I agree with that 100%, but I do feel a little sympathy for her in the way that Kyle spoke to her.
see, and I
Kyle's
don't. And I know I'm
You
about
don't.
to every
There you
feminist
go.
is about to like come after me and like for this. I'm trying to be careful how I word this because I don't want to be canceled. Like, to me, this whole season, like, I've always had disdain for Amanda, and Kyle was just like, I don't get why he exists, but there was not like disdain. Like, I saw like a woman who wasn't contributing like anything, and I saw a man that was like completely breaking himself to give both of them this life that they wanted and sustain it. And she's just like, woe is me. I'm not going to do anything, but like, I want you to like provide. And I don't understand why you're under all the stress. And I don't like, and again, that could be like my own trauma as the one that was the provider. And I don't think people see. No, again, okay, I need to back up.
No, you're right, I agree with you.
The way he talked to her. I don't
Right.
wanna say that at all. I just think that it was more nuanced than that, and I don't think people, until they watched it and, like, even see admit it, do not understand that pressure of being,
Right.
like, the sole provider for your family, and obviously, they're in a totally different tax bracket than, like, I was in,
Mhm.
but, like, trying to maintain this lifestyle and, like, drowning, and your partner is not doing anything to contribute.
I agree with you completely, and I think it took me a minute, though, to get there.
Yeah.
So, starting from that beginning of the season, I was just like, "Oh my gosh, here we go again, them fighting again." It always made that's the one part I didn't like about Summer House, like, give me some more drama from other people, not just them 2, it's the same drama. Figure it out or get out of the divorce each other. But throughout the season, until the end, is when I finally realized how much Kyle was suffering
Yeah.
and how much he was breaking. So starting from the beginning, we want to talk about it. I felt bad for Amanda. So I was like, man, he is, treating her horribly, blah, 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 whatever. But then coming down to the end of the season, which is one of the parts where I love that Sierra apologized to him at the very beginning of the reunion, saying, I see you, because in reality, he was trying, but he didn't know how. And then I was watching an Instagram reel or TikTok or something about a psychiatrist saying how Amanda manipulated that entire dinner situation. And I was
Oh,
like, "Oh my gosh, you were so right." Like, I think sometimes we have to look outside of the box instead of just
mhm.
like staring at the drama. And that's where I was gonna head to. Like, I felt bad for her at first. And then even before the Scamanda situation, it was like, wait, what? Kyle's doing everything. And then her house being as dirty as it, and that she doesn't do anything. And then when he brought up the smoking weed, I don't care if you smoke weed, but when you're not doing anything,
And she ain't paying for that
and
weed.
yeah, right, right. But then how did she pay the $117,000 back rent? Where's that
And
money
then
come from?
now she, like, wants to my gosh, there's so many
Yeah.
things to that. But I don't know if you saw that, like, now she's, like, suing because,
Yep.
like, Love Boy is, like, half hers.
Does she deserve a little bit from it? Maybe. I don't know how much she put in at the beginning, marketing wise and stuff. But you even see the people
But you
in
saw
the
that, like, on
episodes where they're like, why is she going to
things
be
I
on
was
this?
stating that she wasn't doing anything,
Mhm.
that he's just, like he hired her in as this creative director or whatever her role was, and she would never do it.
Yep.
Like, so I'm just
Yeah.
like, I don't and, like, yes, I'm like, I get it, they've been together for 10 years, so obviously he built this while they were in a relationship, so I'm not saying that she's not entitled to, like, I don't know,
Something.
I am
Well,
saying
maybe
she's
not. I mean, she did pay the back rent, but like, what about everything else that he's paid for throughout the 10 years?
yeah. And, like,
So
her actually not doing the literal thing that she was hired to
to
do,
do.
so it's like
Exactly.
I can't even say because I think where I don't want this to get, like, misconstrued, like, at all, because I think that there are a lot of situations where there's a woman that is a stay-at-home wife and mom and, like, the part or it could be the other way around, like, just one of the
Right.
partners, like, the one that's running the business, and it's like, you're keeping things together at home, like, that's work and stuff also. I'm keeping things together at home so that, like, you can go out and, like, do this job, so I totally 1,000% feel that, like, you're entitled to, like, something, but she wasn't keeping it together at home, like
No, she wasn't doing anything. She wasn't doing anything but crying and playing victim. All right, question for you. Let's go back a little bit in the season. This is the first season we have 3 black cast members. Sierra being the very first black cast member ever. And then we got Mia, which I love. And
No.
then KJ, which I don't know. I think he gave some on the show. I don't think he was like huge on the show in essence. Like I like their little, sticking together, especially during the race talks and stuff like
Mhm.
that. But I don't know if he really put a highlight. Mia, I think, did excellent. Like I would see her again on Summer House any day. Not saying I don't like KJ, but I think KJ gave more personality, more about him in the reunion than he did the whole season.
I want Paige, Hannah, Mia, and Sierra to just have their own, like, spinoff together. Like,
Mhm.
that's what I want. So, like, that is, like, the girlhood that, like, I want so
What about
badly.
with Mother Hubbard?
Okay, I want so badly because I know there's this whole, like, redemption thing for like Lindsay and everyone. Like, I just don't, and I said I don't have a disdain for her. I just don't particularly like her. I don't like.
I
I
think
get she's supposed to be this character that's kind of polarizing, and that like she kind of makes up for everything by the way that like she stands up for her friends. And I just no, I'm not watching a show like with her.
no.
Like no,
I used to not like her. What?
she can come visit sometimes, like to whatever
Be a
house or
friend.
like,
Yeah.
but she can't be a regular character.
Like the season before, season 9, when she would just show up randomly.
Yeah, yeah, she
Essentially
can do
just
that.
yeah.
Maybe a little less.
I don't mind her. I think this season she's proven herself a little bit more, but you haven't seen In the City, and that's obviously a different show, but I don't know if I like her that much in the city either. But I don't know. I feel like this season, at least in Summer House, she gave back a little bit more than
Yeah.
she has, I would say.
And I feel like what I will give her is that I think she has experienced a lot. And I think Carl, because, okay, controversial opinion, I don't really like Carl.
Ooh, I
Like,
like him now. I didn't like him before.
I think I'm indifferent to him. Like, I'm very indifferent to him. Like, I don't see the appeal of why all these women are throwing themselves like
Well,
at Carl.
neither do I with any of those men on that show. And I mean,
I love Jesse so much.
I like his personality, but I don't think he's like this
Well, I don't
number
think
10
anything
guy. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
like,
Like, none of
but
them are drop dead for all this drama.
for the way these women, but I think it's a proximity thing. Like, it's just
Yep,
these are the men that are available, and so people are choosing from that, like, little pool, but, like, if they were, like, in a large crowd of people, I don't think anyone would ever, like, pick them out, like, ever.
true. Same with Sarah picking West. I think that was proximity for sure.
I just I don't know. Okay, one thing I will say, I feel like I would have gotten fooled by, like, Wes's charm. Like, Wes is good. Even Lindsay calls that out on the reunion of, like, "I'm
Mhm.
falling for this now." Like, I think there's this whole, like, I don't know, like, there's this thing about him that I feel like I would have fallen for, so I don't blame
Well, he
Sierra.
says everything right, touches you every way right. Like, he does everything in that image of a
Just
great
enough that
guy.
gives you
Just
just
enough. Mhm,
that you're like, "Okay, I'm curious, like, what else can, like, be there?" And I think that's part
mhm.
of it. Like, he wants to, like, keep you, like, hanging on and see, like, what else is, like, there.
While
So
he's doing it to 7 other people.
exactly, that's why he can only give you, like, just enough. He can't give you, like, all of him. So, like, I just, like, but okay. So, other things that happened, I mean, like, you touched on, like, KJ and, like, just the bond between, like, KJ and Mia and Sierra and stuff in general. I think so that brings me, like, to the race conversation that
Yes,
they
let's
had.
do it.
Like, I am so glad that on now we're touching on the reunion a little bit, but that, like, Sierra named in the reunion that she felt that Amanda and Wes were saying all of these buzzwords that they were supposed to say of, like, "I see
Mhm.
you, I hear you," because I didn't feel like anyone got that, like, in that moment.
Yep.
And I saw it. I was just like they're just like, "I see you. I hear you." Like, there was no, like, depth to anything that they were saying, and I
I
feel
think
like
wasn't it Jesse, though, that said something and understood? Somebody said something that understood.
Jesse's got a lot of black friends. Like, I have
Yeah, but
gathered
I feel like one of them, I think it was Jesse, that was
probably
like, "Wow, like, yeah, you're right." And, like, instead of just saying the right things, he, like, went into it a little bit deeper and being
well,
like, "I'm never gonna be you, but I understand that." And, like,
Jesse is the
"Oh, yeah, don't
only
step on
I'm
that one,
trying to think
please."
that I don't wanna, like, miss anybody, but I think Jesse is the only person in that house that I feel like has, like, relationships with people outside of this, like, white Bravo sphere, like, certain tax bracket, like, type thing. Like, I feel like he has these genuine relationships, and so that's why he, like, gets it. And I think, like I'm just gonna say this, I'm just gonna go out and say this because I've seen the first episode of In the City. I feel like Kyle needed to show that he had a black friend, so he found the one mixed friend that he, like, had in the city. They're like, "You gotta be on the show." Like, it feels
Maybe.
so fucking weird, and then, like, it's the mixed guy. I mean, the first of all, he's mixed and he's got the white girlfriend, but, like, whatever. I just
And then
needed
he's also not a great guy.
I
That's a
mean,
whole
I saw, like, the first episode, so I
wait for episode 2. Yeah, he turns into a weirdo after that.
but I was so glad that, like, first off, I hate that I feel Sierra was put in this position of being the first black woman there, that,
Mhm.
like, she had to have these conversations and she had to, like, make everything about race. And I feel like that is an impossible situation to, like, be in. And I think, like, especially with her having this relationship with a white guy on camera and the way it all, like, turned out, like, I don't feel like she was able to fully, like, be herself and process, like, her feelings just around this relationship because everything was centered around, like, she got played by this white guy, this mediocre white guy on
Mhm.
the, like, television. And so I want to, like okay, well, first, let's back up. Do you have anything else about the actual conversation itself, the race conversation they had that stood out for you?
I mean, again, I think it's just Bravo TV as well, always highlighting those conversations, but only by the Black person speaking it and not any of the after conversations. You cannot tell me that they had that dinner, had that conversation, nobody talked about it after the fact. You know what I mean? Even in a snippet, nobody said anything. I mean, that's a human curiosity. It's the human way of like afterwards being like, hey, thank you for even just like, Sarah, I know that was probably hard for you to say or, whatever, but there was no snippets of that showed. So I wonder if those conversations
They
actually
did.
happen.
Like, cause I don't think it was a real conversation. Like, I felt like it was a very much like I think it was real for Sierra. Like,
Right.
she needed to bring those
And
out.
Mia and KJ.
Yeah, I think it was very real for them because, when I say especially Sierra, because I feel like she had been dealing with it for years, like, at this point.
Yeah.
But for everyone else, no, I don't think it was a thought after that conversation. They had it, they filmed it, they said their buzzwords, and that was it for them. So, no, I don't
Yeah.
think it was ever, like, any follow-up. And, like, yeah, that is an issue, I feel like, with Bravo, of that they want to have these, like, hot button things because even think about when the uprisings were happening, and so every season, I mean, like every franchise or whatever, there was some impact like of that. So
Oh,
they would have
100%.
like the one episode where they would talk about it and then that was it. It's set for Real Housewives of Atlanta. Like
Well,
I
and
feel
so that's my other thing is there's always that there, and it's only discussed in those shows that are predominantly white. Like, and the Black cast member always gets casted out. So I feel like this is the first time though that they haven't necessarily casted Sierra out because obviously of what happened.
Mm.
But I wonder if the Scamanda thing didn't happen, if they would have casted like at least the Bravo verse of people in the audience cast her out a little bit because look what happened with Griselle.
Hmm.
Immediately when she brought up anything Black, she was out, like in a sense, outed, like or ousted, excuse me. And same with
That she can't get along with people, that like she's
yeah,
the issue. Like
yeah. And then the what was the Asian lady
well,
on?
see, I don't know. Like I feel like that was a complicated
Well,
situation. Like
100%. I agree. There was other
she
issues beyond it, but right off the bat, if she mentioned something about race, it
you're
was
making this about
immediately.
race.
hmm
Yeah.
And not only that, it was more like then immediately everybody kind of felt turned on her.
Yeah.
And there's always
For
issues.
people, because there was it I don't wanna put something on people that didn't say it, but I feel like it was it Tamara who was it that somebody ended up making a comment about how they feel uncomfortable around her now because they feel like everything they say and do is gonna be, like, misconstrued, like, as racist, and I'm like, "If you can't exist in your everyday life without second guessing if you're racist, then you're probably racist."
Exactly.
A person that's not racist would not have that problem, like
Exactly. Well, and I think one thing that I ignore, and I tend to ignore just because I have to, I guess, we use our Bravo verse to somehow relax our mind. Don't ask how that works, but it does. If you see the TikTok about ADHD and watching Real Housewives and all the Bravo verse, you would understand. But as an activist and as who we are in our everyday lives, half of these people probably are trumpeters. And we kind of ignore it in this situation because I don't ignore it in my regular life. I don't ignore it anywhere else, but I do
because they
ignore
want
it in
that
this show.
escape.
Exactly. 100%. We need that escape. But then you look at that and then we talk about race on top of that. Here we go.
Yeah,
None of
it's
them can actually tell their truth because if they do, they'd be canceled in a second.
yeah. I mean, and they be fired from the show. They've been like
Mhm.
all these things, and like I think it's when we first started like talking about this being a segment on the podcast and wanting to like actually talk about like all of our reality TV shows and stuff, like you and I discussed how this is like we're so in this work every single day that like we need that escape. Like I'm
Mhm.
fine when they don't talk about like a lot of race like things. I'm just like I need to escape like from this. And also
Right.
because it is always done so poorly. It's always done as a staged conversation because they want
Yeah.
to say we had the conversation, we didn't ignore it, and now we're going back to like everything else. And
Yeah.
again, like you mentioned before, it's always put on the person of color to be the one that's like bringing it up.
Yeah.
And it's just like, I hate it. I can't stand it. I feel like I will honestly say that with Summer House, I feel like this is the only time that the conversation was done right. And the things that like Sierra said. Because I also feel like so often it could be just the pressure that people feel as the one person of color talking about it. They often tend to like really shy away from saying like real things. And the
Yes.
way she called out the shit with West of like, this was a very racialized thing. Like, but also, I don't know if you like picked this when he said, "Well, yeah, on my end too, because of like us breaking up or whatever. Like, I all of a sudden was like labeled as a racist." And I'm like, people just let that slide. And I'm like, no, 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 no. We're not about to take Sierra's moment. And I mean, that just shows who he is, you know?
100%.
Her
He has
moment.
to be the spotlight.
Yeah. Like what
He's trying to
actually
be the next Kyle.
happened. And now he's the victim. Like,
Mhm.
because of this, because I was considered a racist, like, because of this, and people were, like, hitting up my family and, like, all
I did
this.
not catch that.
Yes,
That
like,
pisses me
go
off
back
now.
in the conversation, like, he says and, like, it was one of those things where it was ignored, no one responded to it, which I think was good because the moment
Right.
didn't need to be taken away from Sierra, but I also felt like if I was there in that moment, I'd be like, wait a second.
Yeah.
What was
Hold
not gonna
on. No.
do
You're
is
not
but yeah.
taking this moment.
Yeah, and
Mm-mm.
making it about, like, him again being the victim. But no, he talks about how his family was, like, harassed and he was harassed and stuff because people felt that, like, he was a racist.
No, he was harassed because of the decisions he made as a
He
person.
made and for also
And
because he was a racist, so let's get into that.
exactly, right? Well, and I think talking about that as well, it was specifically of what Sierra said of dating a white man and all, the backlash or what she gets from people of color and things like that. I think that's what some people don't understand when I see comments like, "Oh my god, they weren't together for 2 years, like get over it," especially after this Amanda situation, right? Like get over it. But I don't think they understand that there's more layered to that as being the black woman with a white
Especially
guy.
when it's and so publicly.
And so publicly.
Like, it is
Mhm.
I think, like, it's already a hard thing, but, like, when it's just, like, you and your own little, like, bubble, like, it's totally different. Like,
Right.
any relationship that they're gonna have anyway is gonna be completely picked apart, and then now it's like, she's with this white guy, so you have that whole aspect of it of, like, why is she dating, like, white guys? Also, again,
Mhm.
proximity. Only
Yep.
black
Well,
person.
there wasn't even that many black people that came up
Yeah.
to the Hamptons.
Right, I
Like,
mean,
she
'cause
didn't even get
they're
that many
not
options. Like,
interviewing black people, you know? And, like, if there would be a black person that was brought in, like, it was so obvious that it's like you're trying to show some diversity, so you're
well,
throwing person in.
they created what was that? What was the Black Summer House? Martha's Vineyard, Martha.
Martha's Vineyard! Oh, I miss
What
Martha's
happened with that?
Vineyard. Yeah,
And that
because
was
people
actually really
didn't want
good.
to but that's a whole other episode we can, like, unpack, and I
True,
think it
but
was people didn't want to see, like, this black level of success. Like, they
mhm,
wanted like, don't
exactly.
get me wrong, Real Housewives of Atlanta is my favorite franchise, like, but that's
Right.
what people wanted to see, like, that level of, like, drama and not just, like, these black professionals, like, living their lives and stuff. And I'll be real, like, I loved it, but I also was like, it's not really my jam because that's not the life that I live. I don't have this like bougie black life.
We pour,
So
boo, we pour.
yeah, I was like, can't relate, girl. Can't relate to these problems you're talking about. Like, but
Okay,
I
so
think it's nice to see that represented.
oh, for sure. Okay, so question, and I just had it at the tip of my tongue when we said that. Oh Lord, I just forgot it. So we were talking about the black representation there. Going back. Nope, I lost it. I
Damn.
lost it. I know. It was still about the race situation and Sierra, but now I can't think of it. Either way.
Well, I think. Go ahead.
Okay, the success situation. Okay, with Sierra. This is where I was coming to. Do you think that she would have, and this is again after Scamanda, this is before the reunion though, but this is through the whole season in the Scamanda situation specifically. Do you think if the fans and the Bravoverse and the internet wasn't so being like, hey, she better get onto Love Island, hey, she better get on everything that Ariana got, do you think if they weren't that into it, that she would have gotten any of those things because she's a black woman?
Nope, she wouldn't
I
have got it.
don't think so either.
And what's really sad is like seeing like her buying her grandparents' house. Like seeing all these things and like the money and stuff like with the Girl Scout troop, like all these
Mhm.
things. Like Sierra had the potential to always be successful. And what I don't
100%.
like is that I feel like all of her success is gonna be credited to this like drama that's happened and like they're trying to push her into Ariana. And I'll be honest, Ariana wouldn't have had anything if it wasn't for Scandal.
I
Like
agree.
she was not going anywhere. Like Sierra was already a nurse. Like, she was already a model. She was already
Mhm.
the only one that kind of came into this already with a life and career and fame, like, on her own. But it's all going to be attributed to this drama now. And, like, and I hate that. But I also think that so I feel like she would have had the success regardless, but it wouldn't have been success like in the Bravo sphere, like world.
Yeah.
The only reason she's getting that success is because it would have been like, why did Ariana get this and Sierra didn't? And so they
Yep.
felt like they had to. And it's sad. Like I don't
Yeah.
think they've I feel like they've always consistently downplayed Sierra.
Oh,
Like throughout
100%. 100%, but I think do you think maybe that's why she did all the costume things? So that she could be like, "Listen, this is who
yeah,
I
like
yeah."
and I think it was because like, I think that's a complicated thing. Is I think, like, especially with her being the one to have the race conversations and hold people accountable and say all these things, that she was getting this reputation as, like, this hard, stern, like, black woman trope that, like, everyone
Mhm, yep.
forced into showing this, like, I'm fun and silly and all these things, and that wasn't which I think there is this, like, silly side to her, but I think she had to really, like, do it up, like, for the cameras because, like, of the reputation that she was getting, and I think that's crap, like,
For
she was
sure.
the only person of substance, like, in that house, and that was
Besides
okay. And
Paige back in the day. I said besides Paige back in the day.
I was gonna say, I'm telling you, like the aftermath should have been Paige, Hannah, Mia, and Sierra
Yep.
sitting together talking. That's the
And
aftermath.
Jesse coming in once or twice.
I know Jesse could have been there too, because Jesse's one of the girls, so he could have been there like too.
And them
But
all in a bed together.
I was just like that. Yes, it should have been this whole cuddle thing. Like, oh, I'm really
I do have
hoping
to
it
say
on the podcast.
yeah. I do have to say that, Andy has been doing, I think, pretty well respecting what we just talked about Sierra. Like, reminding people, calling her Dr. Sierra when she came out saying beta blockers don't actually stop emotion, they
Okay,
stop your nerves, you know? And he even said, I think on Watch What Happens Live twice and on his podcast, he was like, Dr. Sierra, Dr. Sierra. And he has mentioned, like, do not forget, she was an ER nurse during COVID. You know, like, we should be
I
highlighting that a little bit more.
not give any great because I'm always on the fence about Andy because he's a raging Zionist and all these things. Like, but he did not give any grace to Amanda and
I know.
West. And he usually tries to like
Mhm.
stay part, like give like both sides of stuff. But I guess this was just so horrible that like he didn't even try. Like, and I was like, okay,
Well, and I
like,
was
and
yeah, I
they
was reading that, like, all the back of the house, everybody that works for that and, the producers and anybody working there said it was a really difficult reunion and, like, nobody was giving them grace because they could see the effect of
yeah.
everybody, including the crew that films them.
This was so because I hate that again. It was just like scandal with like friends and like dating and stuff. Everyone tries to compare it to like Scandal, and I feel like this was such like on an entirely different level than
Oh,
like
100%.
Scandal. Like Scandal just was a cheating scandal, and
Yep.
like this was something like totally different. And I feel like I mean, because let's just put it out there. I'm not saying that like anything is warranted or whatever, but like the whole Southern saying about like you lose them how you get, like that's Ariana was cheating. That's how she
Yep.
got this man. And so they
Yep.
lost him by him cheating on her. And I'm not saying that like 'cause I've been in situations like that where like relationships started not in the like most on the up and up. Like so
Mhm.
I'm not trying to say it's like warranted, but Sierra did not do anything wrong in this situation.
Agreed.
Like, and I think people understand that across the board. And I think like what's really hard for me and what I think needs to be like, and I think again what separates it because I mean, what the heck was the girl's name that Tom cheated with? I just forgot her name. And
Rachel.
Rachel, yeah, I was like,
Well, it's because she had too many names.
also that too, and that's how irrelevant she was. But like her Ariana, like they were friends, but it was not like this deep
Oh my
thing
goodness.
where like Sierra was so ride or die for like Amanda. It was like the way she came at Kyle, the way she spent her whole summer consoling this woman, like the way like
Every summer, not even this just
yeah,
this summer,
right.
every
It's been
summer.
the same thing over and over again every
Mhm.
summer. And it's like we really saw that. And I think the hardest part was that last episode where she's crying and sobbing and like the vast difference of like she is so heartbroken like for her friend and worried about her friend. And I saw someone said this online of that like they were crying for two different reasons. Like Amanda was crying because she knew what she was doing already in that
Yeah.
moment. Like, and I think for me, Wes is a piece of crap. We know that. And I was
Yeah.
like, I don't expect Wes to do anything different than what he did. But I think the true like scandal of it for me really is like Amanda and Sierra. And
Oh,
I think that
100%.
people aren't focusing on that enough. Even in the reunion, it was focused on you got with her ex. Like that was what was wrong. And it was like not
Yeah.
just the actual betrayal of the one person that consistently like stood by you.
That's the thing I think that hurts the most, and, like, I even almost started crying, feeling Sarah almost crying at the reunion when she was talking about the relationship because of that. We're getting into the reunion again, but I don't think you cannot. And even the emotion, seeing that matching emotion from that last episode to the reunion, she was having that emotion where Amanda was just like,
Yeah.
quite okay, going back a little bit into
Yeah.
the actual season, Carl and Lindsay situation. I do have to say that I'm really happy that they became friends again.
I like their friendship a lot. I think that they should have always remained friends. I
Agreed.
think it gets like complicated because I was literally just in this situation like earlier this year of
Mhm.
like my best friend of like decades, like kind of having this moment of like, we've never tried this. Like, why don't we try this? Because in theory, you're like, your best friend is the person that, like, why would you not want to be in a relationship with the person you consider your best friend? Like, and it doesn't work. Like, it hardly like ever works. And I think but I think they need it, I mean, to get it out of their system because it's
Yeah,
like you've always been wondering, like, what would have happened, and then I think they need it this time away from each other, and I
agreed.
think she needed Gemma. Like, I think, like,
Yeah,
she really needed to, like, have that child, and so I'm glad they're friends again. That's what makes both of them tolerable to me is their friendship together. Like, beyond that, I am so like, Carl is a mess. Like, I don't like I'm just like, I can't deal with him.
What
Like,
what about Carl and oh my gosh, why am I
one
forgetting names
girl,
now? What was that?
the girl that he was
No, Carl and Kyle. There we go. What about Carl and Kyle's friendship? I feel like Ky oh, okay, I gotta say this. It's partially 2 things for me. 1, Carl not understanding the depths of the situation of Kyle's life. But 2, Kyle also not communicating because we all know he don't know how to communicate
yeah,
with Carl about it because I don't think Carl would have been upset about the money, and I don't think it was ever about the money. It was the support for Softbar, right? It wasn't the money, it was just the support and, like, the conversation, like, Kyle was just like, "Nope, sorry, I can't do it because I'm struggling with Loverboy," but never like, "I I support you still, I just can't financially support you," and he didn't he didn't text him or call him on his brother's anniversary,
yeah,
and that's something they have together. He was there when they found out he was died.
yeah. Again, I am not ever going to be the one that makes excuses for a mediocre white man. So I'm not trying to defend Kyle here, like at all, even though it
Right.
seems like I'm the Kyle Stan on this episode. Like I I guess it's because I have been in that situation where I am so deep into like my own stuff that's going on that like I'm drowning so much that like I just can't be a good friend. And like
Agreed.
it sucks that like yes, Carl was there 1,000%. And I think Cal, like when this was starting with Soft Bar, obviously would have thought that he would have invested. He would have been there along the way. Did not expect his whole life to be crumbling because it's not just his business, it's his marriage. Like
Right.
it's everything is falling apart for him. He was in a position to be a good friend. And like, and it sucks. And I'm glad, which they talk about how they talked about it later, and especially Carl was able to watch back and like see what was like
Right.
really happening. And so they're good and stuff now. And I think because they have like a real friendship. Like, and I guess me, I don't know if it's like a woman thing or just being intuitive. Like, I could see so clearly what was happening. And I'm like, Carl, how do you not like see like what is happening? Like, But I just yeah, I feel again, not trying to make excuses for him. I just think that he was just so deep into, like, what was happening in his life. And yes, and it sucked. Like, it was not fair and stuff to Carl, but I also don't think it was, like, a malicious thing. I just
Oh,
think
I
Carl
agree that, yeah. I agree
but
it
I
was never malicious. Yeah.
and I'm sure it really, really hurt and stuff for Carl as someone that was so there for him. It was just bad timing, that,
Yeah.
like, all this stuff was happening while his life was falling apart. Like,
I'm
but I
wondering the Go ahead.
no, I was gonna say something about the fight that they have, but what were you gonna
Oh,
say?
I was gonna say that I'm wondering too, in living this public life, how obviously we know there's a true friendship there because
Mhm.
they get over it. They yelled at each other, called him, or, Kyle called him
Six,
Vagisil,
5, whatever.
5, 6, whatever. Yeah, whatever. Yeah, all the ridiculous ranting that Kyle did, and then they've come back together now since and been fine. Even that
Yeah.
night they did.
Mhm.
So we know there's a true friendship there, but there's still, I think, responsibility on both sides for sure to have that communication of
Yes.
saying, like, even when you were saying your experience, like, yeah, you know what, you can't be a good friend, but then you have to tell him, like, why didn't Kyle just say, I cannot be a good friend right now? I am struggling. Done. Not even if he wanted to bring it up, because in our world is different. We're not seeing these people and staying with them every weekend. So
Yeah.
I'm not saying us in real life should have to do that or Kyle should in real life have to do that, but because they're in the same house and this situation, there wasn't a one time that Kyle could have been like, I'm really struggling, Carl. I mean, they had how many conversations about the money and all that stuff. There was not once he could have just been like, my life is imploding. I cannot. Every time he had an excuse about it, but it wasn't my life is imploding. Now, did we see his life imploding? Yes. But
I think when you're in it, you it's I think you're so in it, you can't say that.
true.
Like, I think that, like I think so, like, just think about, like, even just in times in your life when, like, you're drowning, like, how many times you told the people in your life that you were drowning,
Never, because I
especially if
never reach
you're the
out.
it's like and then especially if you're the person that always, like, keeps it together and always, like, handles everything, like, it's not even in your vocabulary to
True.
say so whereas it seems like, okay, like there were so many times you should have just said it then, like Carl is that person that wears
Agreed.
his sleeve and he's always the one that people are comforting and he puts everything out there. Kyle has never been that
True.
person. Like, and so to expect him to just be emotional and like I think he was emotional once he finally broke. So like
Right.
after your
You're
fight,
right.
when you see them like in the closet, basically like holding you, like that was when it finally was just coming out, but that was not an intentional conversation. I think he just broke and everything just came out. Like, and I, again, the reason I feel like it's such a real friendship was that like Carl saw it like in that moment. And I think Kyle finally saw it and stuff too, the way that like Carl was like feeling and they were able to like
For
work
sure.
through it. And I think that's when I feel like in a lot of times in like these shows when you can tell like who is like friends for like this show versus like who has a
Real
real
life.
friendship.
Mhm.
But I think something I wanna, like, go back on with Sierra and Amanda, and also, I guess, Sierra and, like, West and stuff too. The reason I told you I've never liked I've there's so many reasons. I could do a whole podcast on just all the reasons that I don't like Amanda, but especially the last couple of seasons, and again, people are like, "It's not always about race," but, like, I think it is very telling that it was the black woman in the house and then the 2 black women in the house that had to be the ones that were holding her together.
Uh,
It was
I
never
agree with that.
like and I think it, like something that I don't like that happened with Sierra, and that's why I think she deserves all the things that are happening right now, and she deserves, like, all of that spotlight because with Sierra said it in the reunion of, like, that's why Amanda and Wes work so well together because she will
Yeah.
never, like, want to take the spotlight away from him.
Yeah.
She will always be and Cal it broke my heart because I feel like Cal, he does love and care
He
about
does love and care about her so much.
it's like, "Yes, Sierra." I'm like, "That is what everybody else is, like, thinking."
She's not
Like
my wife.
it's a yes! I was like that was probably my favorite scene from, like, the entire, like, reunion was, like, there in that moment, and I love that Sierra did not back down,
For
like, and, like,
sure.
you did a terrible thing, like, and now these are the
100%.
consequences from it, I don't care, and then everyone wants to throw out, like, of, like, her mental health and all these things, like you said, that's not my wife, I get why Kyle cares about it,
Mhm.
care about it, but you cannot expect Sierra to, like, care about this girl's mental health because she didn't care about Sierra's,
Not
you
at
know,
all.
but Sierra
Not
Nameless
at all.
had to literally pick her up off the floor so she could go work, you know,
I
like,
mean,
no.
we're friends, but we're not that close. Are you kidding me?
And then there were so many times where I feel like she did try to, like, downplay her relationship with Sierra to
100%.
justify what she was doing, and I'm just like, "Girl, if you," I mean, I still woulda hated you, but if you woulda came into this and been like, "I was 1,000% in the wrong. Sierra has always been a solid friend. I really messed up. This was my best friend." I would have been like, "Okay, at least
But
you're
also
admitting."
receipts to show that you didn't just text her the night before you came out with the statement.
And I mean, and then like we haven't even, which we're gonna do on another episode, but getting into the timeline
Mm.
of like how long all of this was like going on. But one thing I do want to name that I feel like unfortunately keeps happening, like with Sierra, is that, or not just with Sierra, but I feel like with Black women in general, is that like us never being like chosen. And so the thing with Wes that I think nobody is fucking talking about is how this
Yep.
man just a few weeks ago is talking about how I'm just not, I can't be in a relationship. I'm not ready for a relationship. I can't do this thing. It's like you weren't able to commit to Sierra, but this meek and mild, socially acceptable white girl that you can bring home to your racist ass family, like
Mhm.
you can settle down for her. And I don't think, because a lot of people have tried to be like that, that Sierra just has to let it go. He just didn't have feelings for her. Like it was just like a Sierra thing. And I
No,
don't feel like it was,
I
because
don't
this
I
happens
agree.
too often of like the Black woman is the one that like you're such good friends with. Like she said, like Wes was dealing with so much and she was like helping piece them back together. We're always good for that, you know, and also to hook up with. But you're not going to
But
settle.
nothing more than that.
You're
Mhm.
gonna settle down with, like, the acceptable, like, white girl, and I
Yep.
think, like, also in the friendship that she had, like, with Amanda, of that, like, at the end of the day, like, you needed I mean, you needed Sierra to, like, hold you together, to fix all your life's problems and stuff, but you're never gonna have that reciprocal relationship with
No,
her.
never.
She's
Never.
always gonna be the one that takes care of you and saves you, and I just hate this whole, like, Black woman, like, trope of, like, we're always the best friend for people to lean on.
But
Like,
nevermore.
we're the one that's gonna listen, we're gonna nurture you, we're gonna, like, whatever, but we're never gonna be the one that's, like, chosen and the one that's, like, centered in all of this. Because at no point did, which Amanda even keeps saying in her own words of, like, "This is what I needed." Like, I needed
Right.
to be, and I'm like, I just don't, I can't even wrap my head around. Okay, I think 2 things can be true at the same time. I think Amanda had totally lost herself, like, in this relationship, and
100%.
well, I mean, I'll say she did. I mean, she just came in with no personality, like, so I don't know.
That's what I was gonna say. I don't think she lost herself. I think she became complacent of like being able to do nothing.
Like, yeah, and I don't know, maybe she was a whole, because she said this started when she was 24. Maybe when she was 23, she was a whole ass person. We haven't seen it in 10 years.
Yep.
Like, so I totally get that of you're like, you finally feel like you're free and you're trying to discover yourself and find things that you love. Cause that was totally me after like my separation from my husband was like learning myself all over
Yeah.
again. I would have never learned myself with the man that destroyed my best friend. Like, and I think all the stuff that she's saying, you know, is totally like fine of like that she needed to get out. She needed to do all these things. I just would have never done that with the person that destroyed like my best friend. Alito and salam, y'all. Asada here, single mama, community organizer, entrepreneur, and your resident elder emo. For so long, I chased the perfect outcome and missed the magic in the mess. Until one day, life just kind of hit me with a holy reality check. Now I'm learning to find beauty in chaos, those dirt under your fingernail moments. And that's what Watching the Bloom is about, embracing growth one petal at a time. If today's episode resonated with you, hit subscribe on your favorite platforms, leave a review, and share this episode with someone who's blooming too. You can keep up with me on all social media at Asada Blooms and on my website at asadablooms.com. I'll see y'all next time as we dig deeper, grow together, and bloom beautifully, mess and all.